Time perhaps to change the way you feel about Vauxhall's Corsa. This 5th generation version has been a huge sales success for the brand, frequently the UK's best-selling car. But it needed a bit more showroom appeal, hence the importance of this mid-term update, which brings the front-end look into line with the brand's other models and introduces some new electrified drivetrain tech for both the combustion and EV variants.
There are some key drivetrain changes with this revised model. For the first time, the Corsa gains mild hybrid tech, a 48-volt system offered with a new generation 1.2-litre 3-cylinder petrol unit, developing either 100 PS or 136 PS, and coupled with a dual-clutch 6-speed electrified auto gearbox that incorporates an electric motor. Most mainstream Corsas, though, will still be sold with the old unelectrified 1.2-litre petrol unit from the earlier version of this 5th generation design, offering 75 PS in normally aspirated guise, or as in this case 100 PS in turbocharged form, which gets boosted to 130 if you choose the optional 8-speed automatic version. This manual 100 PS model manages up to 55.4 mpg on the combined cycle and up to 114 grams per kilometre of CO2. If you don't want to use any fuel or put out any CO2 at all, you'll want the other drivetrain option, the full EV Corsa Electric derivative. That variant's original 50 kilowatt-hour battery and 136 PS electric motor combination continues, offering 222 miles of range. But EV Corsa customers can also now choose a more sophisticated 51 kilowatt-hour battery paired with a more powerful 156 PS motor. This long-range setup boosting the WLTP rated distance you can travel between charges to 255 miles. Expect moderately rapid performance with 62 miles an hour dispatched in under 9 seconds, but bear in mind that the Corsa Electric is around 350 kilos heavier than the ordinary version. Otherwise, things are as before with this Mark V Corsa's drive dynamics. These haven't been tuned specifically to British roads, as the brand has very effectively done with some previous generation Corsa models, but that wasn't possible with this French-engineered Corsa F design. Something evidenced, for example, by the way the slightly over-light steering hasn't been tweaked for the twistier, more challenging tarmac common in our market, as previously it might usually have been. Avoid base trim and you get a sport button to firm the helm responses up a bit, a mode that at the same time adds a sportier note to the exhaust. The ride quality can't match the kind of thing you get in a rival Volkswagen Polo, few Super Minis can do that, and the fairly basic torsion beam rear suspension that all small cars feature means you'll certainly feel speed humps and crumbling potholes. Overall though, what's served up in this Corsa is a firm but supple standard of damping that works as well on the open road as it does around town. Some mid-term model updates often seem a bit half-hearted, but this one genuinely meets the brief, which was to give this 5th generation Corsa a bit of extra, much-needed visual character. The rather apologetic looks of the original version didn't seem to put many customers off, but you can't help thinking that this Vauxhall might have done better still if it had looked like this back in 2019. As before, there are short overhangs, quite an upright screen, and this 5-door only body shape. So, subtle but effective changes outside. Will the same be true in the cabin? Well, pretty much, yes. The key difference is this new 10-inch Qualcomm Snapdragon centre touchscreen. But there are other differences too, like a redesigned steering wheel, smarter upholstery options, and these revised sports seats. As before, the oversized Vauxhall gear knob is something we could do without, and the pedal box is tighter than we'd ideally like, but generally it's all ergonomically very sound. Design chief Mark Adams and his team having used what they call functional partitioning to split up certain areas. Build quality doesn't match the higher standards in this class, but ergonomically there's not much to fault. The seats are supportive, nothing's irritatingly awkward to get to, and everything's exactly where you expect it to be. Even the climate functions are properly separated out into controls at the bottom of the centre stack, unlike in this model's close cousin, the Peugeot 208. If you can avoid entry-level trim, which has a 3.5-inch digital instrument cluster, you get this set of digital dials on a 7-inch virtual screen. Okay, time to look at the rear seat. What's inside is actually not too bad. There's certainly less room than there was in the previous pre-2019 era E-generation Corsa, despite the fact that this Mark V model has 28mm of extra wheelbase length. But there's not much less space than you get in the back of a Renault Clio, for instance, though that's not really saying much. Finally, let's take a look at the boot, which is 309 litres in size, which is a capacity figure that remains slightly below class standards. It's quite a usable, squarically sized space though, with 885mm of length and 867mm of width. Vauxhall has produced a much better Corsa, of that there's no doubt. It's smarter, better connected, more sophisticated and even more electrified than any of its predecessors. But it's also considerably more expensive as well. So it's just as well that you're going to get plenty more in return. It doesn't lead its class in terms of either space efficiency or driving dynamics. And the truth is that for all the electrified headlines here, most sales will still be of the models fitted with either an ageing unelectrified 1.2 litre petrol unit or the older version of the Stellantis Group's EV powertrain. But things are changing, and as the introduction of hybrid power here demonstrates, this Corsa is too. Add to that the wide model lineup and the likely deals on offer, and you've a super mini that more than ever needs to remain high on any family's shopping list.